Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel where stories and other random things take center stage and imagination is prized above all. So, happy Saturday. Welcome to today's video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic morning and will continue to have a wonderful rest of your day. So today I am reviewing a classic book. Actually, I have reviewed classic literature in my channel before, two of which I chose to delete, and two that I think remain. I did review, no, they're there, and I'm gonna keep those. I reviewed, I think it's called There Come Soft Rains, or something like that, or There Will Come Soft Rains, by Ray Bradbury, and The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm still hoping to review more Hitchhiker books, but I haven't been able to get those yet. So yeah, and I also, so those are the ones, but I had reviewed before Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, as well as Beowulf at some point, but I deleted those. I actually might redo those now that I'm out of class and see how it works out for me. But I don't know. But now I am reviewing Passing by Nella Larsen. There is a Netflix film to it, which I have not I've not watched, but I do want to review the book. I read it in class, and it's really short. You can actually find an audiobook version of it on YouTube. It's like a 3-hour audiobook, so it's really not too bad. I will link it below if you're up for it. But here's the summary I have from Goodreads. Nella Larsen's fascinating exploration of race and identity, the inspiration for the upcoming Netflix film directed by Rebecca Hall, starring Tessa Thompson and Ruth Negga. Now, by the way, forgive any pronunciation mistakes here. This Signet Classics edition of Passing includes an introduction by Britt Bennett, the best-selling author of The Vanishing Half. Irene Redfield is a Black woman living an affluent, comfortable life with her husband and children in the thriving neighborhood of Harlem in the 1920s. When she reconnects with her childhood friend Claire Kendry, who is similarly light-skinned, Irene discovers that Claire has been passing for a white woman after severing ties to her past, even hiding the truth from her racist husband. Claire finds herself drawn to Irene's sense of ease and security with her Black identity and longs for the community and, increasingly, the woman she lost. Irene is both riveted and repulsed by Claire and her dangerous secret as Claire begins to insert herself and her deception into every part of Irene's stable existence. First published in 1929, Larsen's brilliant examination of the various ways in which we all seek to pass is as timely as ever. So like I said, I read it for class, but I did really enjoy the book. I think the book was really good. I actually, so here's a fun fact. I'm a bit of a procrastinator in most things. And one of the things though that I do is I do procrastinate reading when it comes to class, usually because I prefer reading the books in a way so that I can remember everything. So I usually read it, read any reading from class. I usually read them like in the morning. So my English class this semester, when I'm recording this, it's April, by the way, of 2021. So I'm recording this and you're seeing this, I think it's at the end of January. Yeah, the end of January. So, of 2022. So, in my current semester, my English class is Tuesdays and Fridays. So what I usually do, and it's at 11:15 in the morning, and ends at 12:30. So what I usually do is I'll wake up maybe 3 to 4 hours early, and while I'm getting ready, or while I'm waiting to go to class, I get an audio version of what I need to read from YouTube, and I play it at double speed because I understand it enough. So playing it at double speed doesn't bother me at all. So I play it at double speed, and I read it that way. I consume what I need to. I get what I need to read through audio versions on double speed because it's easier for me to do. So that's what I do. But I did enjoy this book nonetheless. I really did. But I thought I would let you know. I'm a procrastinator, and I read it last minute, and I still enjoyed my time reading it. Even though it's been probably like a month since I read it. I'm pretty sure it's been a month in my time since I read it. But it's really good in many ways. Now, I gave it an average rating in Goodreads just because it didn't feel like 4-star, it didn't feel like 3-star. It was just like, it didn't feel like a 5-star. So I just felt kind of like there. But it had nothing to do with the book. The book is very well written, and it has a really interesting structure that I liked. And I liked the way that it is separated into 4 parts. So each part kind of deals with a specific event, which is something I like. And I appreciated the way that it was written in that way, that it was like separated into these 4 parts. Each part kind of dealt with a specific thing. I think each part was literally like 4 chapters maybe, and it was interesting. Now, this is written in 3rd person limited, and we follow Irene's point of view. So everything we see is going to be through her point of view, and we see the differences in how she behaves with everybody else, as well as how she behaves with Claire. The differences are pretty clear, but also it's almost like we're meant to think Claire is bad because of the way that Irene sees her. But knowing her past, the way that Irene tells us, it's kind of hard to say that she's bad. What I like about this specific book is the exploration that we have of both women's psychology. Even though it's specifically in Irene's point of view, we get to see the reasons why things happen. For example, Irene finds Claire terrible and kind of despicable because she pretends to be a white woman and she passes as such. But Irene can pass too. It's just that she doesn't do it at often, and only when it necessitates, like, emergency. And this does come up in a flashback where she did pass, where someone did think she was a white woman, and they took her to a hotel that was only for white people because she was about to faint from the heat. So she did not correct the assumption, and there is some question about passing in the book itself, right? So it is interesting to see the different psychology and the way that Irene finds Claire both amazing and repulsive at the same time, and she can't seem to figure out which one she likes, she can't seem to conciliate one or the other. And that's what makes this book really interesting to me, not to mention watching how these women handle society. So Irene has an image to keep. She has an image in society, and when Claire kind of comes in, there is always the possibility of Claire kind of ruining Irene's image, but Claire doesn't, and Claire really easily ingratiates herself into society. But unlike Irene, Claire manages to make it kind of easy because Claire uses truth as well as deception. Claire lies, but there's a form of truth, so everything she does is kind of purposeful when it comes to that. Well, Irene is, it's obvious she doesn't think that based on the reading. She's more of a manipulative person who in the end tends to choose herself a lot quicker than she would choose other people, and her family, of course. But she has ways in which she thinks things should run, and that's interesting because we follow her point of view in the way she kind of manipulates her husband. Like, her husband wanted to do certain things, and she somehow convinced him not to do said things, and she does say phrases like, phrases like he like I know him better, like she knows him better than he knows himself, which of course it's not true. And several times when like or there are times that she does talk about when like, you know, the idea of like doing the things that her husband wants to do, she's like, I'll find something kind of like to soothe him, like slowly soothe him away from it, basically. And it's disturbing but also interesting to read, because it's obvious that she's a bit of a master manipulator, and that's what makes it kind of interesting to read. I have not read a book like this in a while, actually. No, I have not read a book like that at all. It's where you follow a manipulative character, and I do like it. It's really interesting. Her manipulation especially kind of comes at the end, when, although it's kind of left a bit of an ambiguous ending, I'm not going to spoil the ending. I think you should experience it, which is why I'm not giving you spoilers here, and which is why I don't usually give a bunch of spoilers. Although I might consider making more spoiler reviews later on in the year. But basically, what's interesting about this specifically is that when it comes to the ending, something happens and she tries to figure out how she's going to get out of it, what she's going to say, how she's going to cover up if she's blamed for what happened. And at the end, nobody blames her, but she also makes sure to be like, no, this happened, like, I don't know what happened or whatever. So she does cover up. So even at the end, she still somehow chooses herself by the end of it, rather than choosing someone else or anyone else. Like, she's a very controlling person, and she wants to control the image that people see of her. And that's what I find really interesting about this story. So those are like my thoughts on Passing. Let me know if you kind of like these classic reviews. I will be doing more, but I wanted to leave this one spoiler free. But when I read other classics, I don't know if they're gonna follow the same structure or anything like that. We'll see. But let me know what you think. I'll be back next week for another video. So yeah, anyway, thanks for joining me in our little corner of the internet. Subscribe if you're interested in my content, and comment down below. Turn on notifications. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, consume stories. Bye.